It's the realest and welcome back to the channel. Today, a lot of you may think I'm crazy, but when I explain it and break it down to you, it will all make sense to why the title is what it is. I do believe I could spar and do well against Francis Ngannou.
Francis Ngannou has the world record for the most powerful punch. His punch is the equivalent to 96 horsepower, which is equal to getting hit by a Ford Escort going as fast as it can.
So, despite Francis Ngannou outweighing me by about 20 kg and, knocking out almost everyone he faces, I do believe in a boxing sparring match, I could do well against him. And why should I think any different? At the end of the day, I've been doing the same sport for 16 years, okay? This guy is a beast. There's no denying it. Athletically gifted, muscles for days. He got enough muscles to share with me, Leon JJ, and still have enough for himself. But boxing is smarts. It's all about thinking. It's about the brain, okay? The man has a mixed martial arts record of 18 fights, 15 wins, 11 by knockout, 4 wins by submission, and 3 losses. His 3 losses have all been decisions, so he's never been stopped. He's not like your typical puncher who can knock people out, gets touched on the chin, and he goes. He clearly has a good chin as well. So he has his own credentials, right? He's doing everything in his own right. But when it comes to boxing and in a sparring match with 20-ounce gloves, 18, 20-ounce gloves, I believe it will be fun. These are the things that I live for. I live for these challenges. I live for these things, and a lot of people get fearful of fighters and opponents very quickly without actually breaking it down and adding logical sense to the situation. So yeah, if me and him were sparring without him wearing 4-ounce UFC gloves and he hits me with a left hook, could he knock me out? Still, possibly, but the chances are lower. And I still think at my size, with my speed and ability, I could make him miss a ton of punches, right? So this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. But we'll revisit that later in the video. A lot of talk has been going on about him fighting Dillian Whyte, okay? Dillian Whyte, again, credentials speak for himself. His only defeat is to AJ, as we know. Since then, he's defeated world-class opponent on top of world-class opponent, Lucas Brown, Oscar Rivas, Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora twice, and his upcoming fight is against Povetkin. So he's the elite of the heavyweight division. He isn't the top of the top because politics have kept him out. But in terms of opponents and credentials, he is amongst the best heavyweights in the world without a doubt. So the hype has been raised about him and Ngannou having a boxing match. And I honestly don't believe the fight would be very competitive as a boxing match after about 2 or 3 rounds, because it's an entirely different sport in its own way. It's like comparing a netball player and Michael Jordan. Both sports have hoops and both sports have a ball, but it is not the same sport. There is so many different factors that change the sports, even though they have the same equipment. Maybe one's missing a backboard, but you get what I'm saying. You get the gist. It's not the same. So crossing the sports over makes sense because they're both combat sports, but the thought process, the tactics, the way you throw your punches, all changes when you can no longer kick or worry about being taken down to the ground. So let's get up Dillian Whyte's record, because that's what I want to do. I want to kind of compare these two guys before I get into why I think I could spar Ngannou. I've already sparred Dillian Whyte and we had a good sparring session. He taught me a lot. He's very experienced, so he just kind of showed me around the ring, and it was a good 5 rounds of sparring. I enjoyed that. So that's why I don't even want to speak about that, because that's something that's already happened and was a great experience. Now it's about talking about the possibilities of the future. Let's get up Dillian Whyte's record and just compare and contrast the two guys. So looking at Dillian Whyte's record, which is very interesting, he has multiple records because he's fought in multiple disciplines. As a boxer, he has 28 fights, 27 wins, 18 of those wins by knockout, and we know his one loss was to AJ. On the other hand, we got his kickboxing record, which is very impressive, with 21 fights, 20 wins, and again, only 1 defeat. And he does have an MMA fight under his name with 1 win, and that was by knockout. So when we're looking at the diversity of Dillian Whyte, it definitely stretches further than the diversity of Francis Ngannou. Which is why I don't even think the fight would be, you know, that competitive. I guess it's a heavyweight fight, so you can never rule anyone out, and one punch lands, the man can go. But it's a matter of landing that punch and the ability to land that punch, which makes me really just think Dillian has this fight if it ever was to happen. We're gonna get into a few clips. I just want to see, you know, some of Dillian Whyte's knockouts, maybe 2 or 3 of them, same with Ngannou, and just compare and contrast, and just break down a little bit of technique to why I think as a striker, boxer, Ngannou isn't in the same level, despite how scary he looks. So yeah, let's get up a clip of one of Ngannou's knockouts right now. This is Francis Ngannou versus Andrei Arlovski, 2017.
Lopez, the MMA factory in Paris. They bringing guys.
So you literally see him land a left hook counter to the temple of Arlovski, and that's the end of it. So the man has freakish power. This is not even anything to dispute or argue.
Lopez, the MMA
see
factory
it again,
in Paris. They
bang,
guys.
and done. Right? So that's the first knockout we've seen of Ngannou. So we're going old school now. This is Ngannou with the cane rows against Enrique. Uppercut, hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut. Good left uppercut. But again, when he's throwing these punches, they're very open. He's very open. You know, in UFC, in MMA, we've seen a lot of guys, you get away with being open. Conor McGregor, one of them, he would be one of the most elite strikers in UFC history. But when you bring him into a boxing ring, there's so much faults to his game. So as much as Ngannou is delivering these punches, and Enrique, as we see here, he's very open, and in boxing, by that time, he would have been countered. He would have been countered a few times. Again, let's not dismiss the power. The power is ridiculous, but because he's not even punching properly, he's not even generating power. It'd be scary if he actually used his body, and he still gets knockout finishes. But from the defensive end, when he's punching and worrying about what's coming back at him, it's almost non-existent. So this is him against Velasquez. And that's crazy. Like, it is crazy. It is crazy how he can tap you on your chin. It only takes 2 pounds of pressure. And Ngannou definitely generates more than 2 pounds of pressure. Let's bring this clip back against him and Velasquez again. Velasquez going for a takedown. He knows he stands no chance on the ground. And then it's so quick I missed it. 2 uppercuts, and that's it. He's out. And that is what I think people are excited about when it comes to Dillian Whyte and Ngannou, is that the man has freakish power, but we have to remember these are 4-ounce gloves. And when you have a smaller surface area, you're gonna generate knockouts. You know, UFC gloves are designed to knock people out. Boxing gloves are designed for longevity punishment. And when you do knock, obviously you can knock someone out too, but the size of the gloves are more of a beat down to you as opposed to instant and out. That's why we see a lot more knockouts in UFC, because it's closer to bare fist basically. So Ngannou, freakish power against world-class opponents. That's 3 of his knockouts. We'll get into 3 of Dillian Whyte's knockouts right now. So now we've seen Ngannou's knockout. Let's see Dillian Whyte. And these are Dillian Whyte's lethal left hooks. Yeah, so let's quickly have a look at this. This is him versus Costa Jr. quite a while ago now. And that's that chopping left hook that he throws. You've seen a similar one against Lucas Brown. Let's bring that clip back a little bit. You see him here with the 1-2, chop the hook down, and down Costa Jr. goes. And remember, as I was saying, these are bigger gloves. So who really hits harder, we'd have to see like for like with the same equipment. Right across the temple there, not a place to get hit. And this is his left hook against AJ. This is one of the times we've seen AJ vulnerable. The first time in AJ's professional career we saw him vulnerable was against Dillian Whyte. He got carried away and then a quick counter hook came in. 2015, geez, time flying. Bang, left hook there, and then AJ's legs go. Dillian started windmilling, which I know he regrets, but either way, he got him going. This is one, I think this is Dillian Whyte's best knockout to date, was against Lucas Brown when he landed this left hook in the O2 Arena. Ridiculous. Here we go. They're good combinations, putting the shots together. Sees hungry, bang, and he knocks him flat out. Now that's one of the most brutal knockouts we've seen in UK heavyweight history in most recent time. He throws the overhand. The thing that is good IQ from Dillian is that he throws the overhand, misses, and loses his balance the first time round. The second time round when he loses his balance, he comes back with the left hook, and that finishes the fight. There, so he throws the overhand here, misses, bang, and down. So we've seen from both these guys' clips that they both possess knockout power. And I guess when you weigh 118 kilos, 125, 126 kilos, you're gonna possess power. And we've seen them in two different disciplines here. And the key factor is Dillian is used to only throwing hands. Ngannou primarily is a guy that uses his hands to attack, but it's so different, the skill set between a Joseph Parker and Cain Velasquez when it comes to fighting on the feet. Which is why I link back to my point again. I would love to have a sparring session with Francis Ngannou because I would really like to see his level of boxing IQ. Too many people in the world these days want to create animosity and beef over things. At the end of the day, we are combat sport lovers. Yeah, I love watching UFC. I went through a stage of watching it every day. And of course I love boxing. And why would I not want to have, put myself in a position where I can have a less dangerous, let's not say not dangerous because it's always dangerous, a less dangerous situation where I can be in there with one of the elite fighters in the world in his sport and just see how I do. And I honestly think I'll be fine. I honestly believe I will be okay, and I would be a good sparring partner for him, especially if he was working on speed, especially if he wanted an elusive target and someone who has a high level of boxing IQ. I would love to spar Francis Ngannou. He resides in Vegas. His trainer, Dewey Cooper, who I have a ton of respect for, he followed me. He set up, actually, one of the main people who set up my professional debut was Dewey Cooper. He was the connection that we had out in Mexico to get my fight. So Dewey Cooper, respect to him, is something that can be set up. And that is why I am saying these things. I just don't like chatting for the sake of chatting. It's something I'm genuinely interested in and I hope can happen at some stage. Fast forward 3 months, you see me reacting to me getting knocked out by Francis Ngannou. No, nah. But no, honestly guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm speaking sense. If you got a brain, half a brain, you understand that I am speaking sense. It makes sense to why I would want to spar someone like him and just experience how it is to be in the ring with someone that size. As I said, I sparred Dillian Whyte. That was a great experience. I held my own. I know I have the boxing IQ to keep up with the best in the world. It's just a matter of timing before I am one of the best in the world. And any opportunity I get to be in the ring with the elites of their craft, I'll take it. It's the realest. It always will be the realest. Make sure that you grab a Teenage Cancer Trust t-shirt. It's the last few days of the sale. It's important. I love you guys.
And I never been broke, but if I call my bros, then trust me, you just know. Said I never been broke, but if I call my bros, then trust me, you just know. Cause we live life icy, family neck just pricey. Cause we live life icy, family neck just pricey. Said I never been broke.